Major new drama with Caitlyn Jenner, Kris Jenner, and the Kardashians. We got to talk about this, but before we get into it, Witty, I smell children. Welcome back to my channel, best friend. If you are brand new, the whole vibe is like we're on a FaceTime call, and because it is Halloween, girl, or almost Halloween, the day before Halloween, I am bringing you guys all week a little bit of some Halloween mess. Today, of course, I am Mary from Hocus Pocus, and tomorrow I have a bigger surprise, so stay tuned for that. But yes, best friend, we are celebrating all things fun. Whenever you come on my channel, I want you guys to feel like we're just hanging out, fun, friendly, just a nice time together. That's all I want. I want to keep you company, you keep me company, and we just kind of there for one another. So if you are looking for a beautiful new community where we can just be ourselves and have support and be loved, make sure to hit that subscribe button. All right, best friends, so we got to talk about Caitlyn Jenner, because on the new episode of the Kardashians, they're showing that Kris is selling that big house that we all know that was featured in Keeping Up with the Kardashians, with the checkered floor and all that. And this house was really like, a background actor for the Kardashians for many years, right? This was like their first big purchase when they first made it. And they filmed many of the seasons in that house. And of course, in that house, obviously, it was run by Kris and Bruce, then Bruce. And I will tell you something. I have never felt more secondhand awkwardness. So in this episode, they're all there together, the family, because they're there one last time having dinner before they sell it, right? And Kris feels like it's very important that Caitlyn goes there. Now, Caitlyn and Kris haven't had the best relationship, since Caitlyn transitioned. The family has been basically broken. Caitlyn really has only a relationship with Kendall and Kylie, and maybe Kim a little bit. But Khloe and Kourtney, I feel like they have definitely just said no. And it's not because she transitioned, it's more because of what Caitlyn has said about Kris, their mother, in the press. So now the conversation is like, wait, so, because your spouse transitions, should you be 1000% on board with this? So I really wanted to talk about this because I thought it was so interesting, this conversation, and I think it's such an important conversation to have. Okay, so let's talk about it, because a lot of people are talking about how Kris doesn't seem very connected with Caitlyn. And a lot of people are saying like, oh, she's probably against that Caitlyn transitioned and she's transphobic and this and that. So let's really talk about this. And I'm going to be so for real, okay? If my father decided to transition, right? First of all, I don't have a father, but I would love my father, okay? And my mother, if she decided to transition, I would love my mother. I want everyone I love and everyone in the world to feel good about themselves, to understand that, if they have one life to live, girl, live it the way you need to live it. As long as you are clear-minded, you are healthy and safe, and you are content with your decision and following your heart, I don't give a damn, girl. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't care. So that's kind of the attitude that Kendall and Kylie have. But the issue, and I hate to see the other sisters getting dragged because people are saying that they're transphobic and this and that, they are defending their mother. Caitlyn Jenner, she had a lot to say about Kris Jenner when she first transitioned. Caitlyn Jenner, the wife of 20 plus years, actually took it as okay as possible. And I'm so sorry to say this, but if you, after many years of being, like if my husband, right, after 20 something years would tell me, I want to be a girl. I'm a girl. I feel like I'm a woman. I feel like, I'm in the wrong body, this and that. My first logical human reaction would be, I want you to be happy. But I'm not going to lie. It would be a very big shock for me because I have been with this person for 20 plus years. I think I have every single right to feel this way. Maybe knowing me, I wouldn't burden them with my feelings because I don't like to make it about me. But I would have an honest conversation and be like, okay, when, if it's okay, when did this start? How do you feel about it? You know, did you feel like this when we were first together? You know what I mean? So I think that you're allowed to be in shock. I think you're allowed to have these normal feelings, because essentially that person that you have been with, you know, is gone. And I think it's okay to have that conversation. You can't be just placed in a fucking box and not be able to say anything, girl. It sometimes it's too extreme. I think that Kris Jenner had every single right to say, okay, let me just gather myself. That's fine, girl. Okay? I think it's perfectly fine. And you know, I'm very it's good to know that Kris respects, you know, pronouns, respects that Caitlyn is now a woman. I remember when she first saw Caitlyn as a woman, she felt very nervous, but you know, she came in and she said, you look fabulous and this and that. She was just very hurt by, you know, the Vanity Fair interview. She was about things in the press. It wasn't so much of the transition because their marriage was already over. It was more about, why are you talking shit about me, you know? And of course, Chloe and Courtney and the rest of the girls, you know, they are defending their mother. And
well, Kris, I really never talk to anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, it's sad. If there's any communications, Sophia Hutchins is my manager and she kind of runs the show. But yeah, Kris, I really don't have any more contact with her. Yeah, it's kind of sad.
It is sad.
Because we went through a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not because of, you know, I don't feel, but there's just a lot there. So I just, you know, kind
Hopefully one day.
move on.
That'll change.
Yeah.
And the issue now with Caitlyn is that the family, all of them, Kendall especially, has expressed that Caitlyn has very different views, political views, different views of the world that they don't necessarily share. And that has become a problem. It's not so much the transition, it's more of Caitlyn's beliefs and Caitlyn's talk with the media. And that is what people are seem to be missing, or seem to not want to pay attention to, is that. Because they just want to like trash Kris, trash the Kardashians, because of course people hate the Kardashians, so it's easy to do that. But you guys know me, I don't like injustices. Even if people are not my favorite people in the world, I'm not gonna, you know, have that. You know, I think it's important to say, hey, she's upset because Caitlyn basically trashed her in the media, you know, and that is why she's upset. She's not upset of the transition itself. So no, they're not transphobic. Watching that episode when Caitlyn comes in, you know, because like I said, Kris invited Caitlyn to come to that farewell dinner. You could just tell people, like, they're like, hi, Caitlyn, you know, like, because, you know, I read that the family has distanced themselves from Caitlyn because of her radical political views, and that is something that they don't agree with. So they have distanced themselves because of that as well. Look, at the end of the day, right, I put myself in the shoes of Kylie and Kendall, which, you know, they are the actual daughters of Caitlyn, and they still call her dad, and they hang out, they talk, this and that, but they just don't talk about, you know, political things or about their mother, right? Because those are topics that are very, very, you know, controversial in that area. So I think it's unfair for people to call the Kardashians transphobic. I think it's unfair to call them, you know, this and that. I don't think it's fair. I think it's fair to say everything, and then you can make a judgment if that's what you want to do. You know what I mean? But anywho, listen. How would you feel? How would you feel, you know, not the transitional part, but, or that too, but how would you feel if, like, your mother was being, you know, trashed, or, you know, this and that? Like, how would you handle that? Because I know that I would take my mother's side in a second. I would never talk to my dad again, period. Anyways, listen. So, it is the day before Halloween, you guys, and you guys know me, I love Hocus Pocus. I've been sharing this in my other videos, but I know not everyone watches all my videos, so I want to show you guys my little Hocus Pocus collection, because why not? So these are all gifts for my messy besties. So I have this, it's like the Disney, you know, the Disney ears. It has Sarah, Winifred, and Mary. That's who I am, girl. Witty, I smell children. So I have that. And I have this gorgeous wallet, which I have not even worn once or used. So yeah, it's that one. How cute is that, right? And then I have this one. These are all gifts from my messy besties. And it is so freaking adorable. I have not even used it yet because I haven't had a chance to. But how amazing is this? Also, you guys are gonna laugh, but hang on, let me see if I can get it down. Oh, I think I could. Hang on one second, you guys. I wanna show you my other piece of collection that I have is this. Oh my God, wait. I have more. Oh my lordy. Hang on, girl. I had no clue. This is all my collection of Hocus Pocus, you guys. Look at this. I forgot about this. How amazing is this, huh? The cereal for Hocus Pocus 2. When I tell you I'm a Hocus Pocus nerd, I'm a Hocus Pocus nerd. Like, I love everything Hocus Pocus. So, anyways, I love you guys so much for watching. I'm so grateful and thankful for each and every one of you. I don't take any of you guys for granted. I truly don't. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for watching. And just remember, Whitney, I smell children.